Welcome back to Lunar Survival. My name is Mareep, so my plan for today is to do a bit of a tour of the server and the things that I've done um, on this server here, Lunar Survival. So I hope this is interesting. I'm planning to go around the builds in the order that I built them, from the oldest to the most current, because I think that makes sense. It might take a while. I've been part of this server for about 5 months now, of 5 months now. So since I started YouTube, I thought that it would make sense to make a video of what I've already built on this server, so that any future videos I make more sense to you. So it'll be a bit of a nostalgia trip for me, and I hope that it's enjoyable for you guys too. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to my starter area. This is the area where I spent the first couple of days on the server when I first joined. Yeah, so it's in the random teleport spawn area. So what happens when you first join the server? You arrive at spawn, and one of the best things to do to get started is to do a random teleport, which gets you away from spawn and out into a random area in wilderness. And this is where I ended up when I did my first random teleport from spawn. It's a lovely area actually. It's a little spruce forest area with a jungle and sort of open birch forest. And there's some ocean over that way. And there's some quite nice things. And I chose to stay here because there was a great sort of crevice that got me down to do some mining, and I was able to gather resources really quickly. So I think it's quite a good way to start off, to get yourself some resources and some mining as soon as you can on a multiplayer server, particularly as with diamonds as the currency, it was important to get some diamonds early on. And there was also an amethyst geode, which is over here somewhere. Oh yeah, you can just see it. So that was pretty handy too, and a lush cave. So I think it was quite a good place to start, really. So yeah, this is where I started. Let me just fly back out. There we go. And here is the house I made. It's just a very little basic house. It's just a little starter house with some starter farms with melons and pumpkins, some wheat and some sheep. And there's a basic enchanting setup and some smelting things. And yeah, first starter storage system and a snow barn. It's pretty handy. Or if you have a non-silk touch shovel, then you'll get snowballs as well, so you can use that to make snow blocks, which is helpful. Yeah, so it's kind of nice and nostalgic to come back here. I wasn't here very long, only for a couple of days or a week or so. I actually found a naturally spawning pink sheep. Naturally spawning pink sheep are pretty rare. So what I did was I decided to sell it to somebody on the server who had an elytra. So I traded it to Ashton, I think, who gave me an elytra in exchange for a naturally spawning pink sheep. So that was fun. That was really useful. There's also another portal which I sort of attempted to decorate with greenery and logs and things. Yeah. Well, there's really not very much more to the starter area. It's just a starter area. So shortly after I joined the server, I was invited to make a base with somebody else. So yeah, I decided to go and do that because I thought that'd be fun. I mean, if you're joining a multiplayer server, it made sense to me to build with other people, because that's why I joined the multiplayer server. So um, after I'd made this little starter base and got myself established with tools and armor and things, I then decided to make a base with someone else. So we're going to go there next. See you there. Hello, and welcome to the second base I made. So this is the base in the savannah biome, as you can see. Now, I started this base with cyan mask, and yeah, so I mean the plan was just to sort of have fun building a base together, and it started off down here. Now you can see that there's been a bit of destruction. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a war, which I'll sort of explain later. But basically, this is the second base that I built with some other people. There were quite a lot of people involved at one point. There was like at least 8 people involved in this base at one time. At one point, yeah. So anyway, down here was where the first storage system was, and villager trading and things like that down there. And then the next thing that I built was this barn here and a sheep farm. So the plan for this, the aim for this building here was to make it look beautiful and barn-like on the outside, but without having it look too industrial. And then down here underneath, there's the actual sheep farm, which doesn't actually work at the moment, but it is used to collect all of the wool and deposit the wool here in this water stream, which would be sent up to the collection system. So yeah, I thought that was quite a fun way to have a sheep farm, but to have it look interesting, because the basic sheep farm setups, they're not particularly pretty to look at. It's quite difficult to get them to look nice. Whereas this looks really cool. I was really happy with this. Yeah. And then this building over here, this is actually an iron farm that I made with cyan, and it's quite a small, compact design. There are villagers up there, and there used to be a zombie on top of that piston who would frighten villagers, spawn iron golems, and then that would create iron. Now the reason why it works to have a structure around this farm is because I made sure that all of the surfaces were spawn proof. So it did actually work perfectly when it had that zombie in it, because all of the surfaces were spawn proof. So yeah, that was a really fun project to try and make an iron farm that was compact and looked interesting, and it's got an interesting roof made out of acacia and crimson flags. I really like that colour combination, and you can see that I carried it through with most of the buildings here in this area. Yeah. Okay. So I'd say that I probably did most of the structures above the ground here, and Cyan did quite a lot of work underground on getting villagers and the storage and stuff. And he also built a sugarcane farm, so that was good. Yeah. And yeah, there were a bunch of people who actually joined this base. Most people who were new to the server at the time would come and join this base here, so that it was just sort of a hub of new people getting themselves kitted out for the first time, and then ready to go off and make their own bases afterwards. So yeah, this was quite cool sort of noodle stand that somebody made. It's a really awesome design for a noodle stand. totally adorable. Yeah. Um, and one of the people who was involved in this base for a bit was Floki. Now, Floki did quite a lot of terraforming and sort of working on the atmosphere of this little area here. We built this pond and a river and this bridge which goes down to the lake down at the bottom. So that was really cool. Floki's just great at terraforming and adding stories to areas to his building. So yeah, that was really lovely that he came to be involved in that. It was great. Okay. And then this water sphere here, this was built by Little Blue Dolphin, who she has a YouTube channel as well. So she built this water sphere. Dolphin is quite obsessed with water and fish. So yeah, she's built this pretty awesome water sphere. And I know it's only a hemisphere still, but the plan was, at least I think the plan was to make it a full water sphere. Yeah, but I guess it never got completely finished. Anyway, yeah, so that's cool. And then over here, I built a wheat farm. So I think one of the things that I was kind of working on in this base was how to find ways to build simple farms and have them not look as if they're simple farms. So with the barn there, that's just a fairly simple sheep farm, but it doesn't look like it from the outside. It looks like a barn, and even when you walk in on the inside, it still doesn't even look like a simple sheep farm. But it actually is a fully automatic sheep farm, and this is a fully automatic wheat farm. And you can come in this way, and there's a villager here who just collects the wheat, and then the minecart just collects it underneath. So it's a very simple wheat farm system, but it looks really interesting from the outside. It doesn't look like a wheat farm at all. It's like a house. Yeah, so you can kind of see what's going on. There's a little bit of a hint of what's actually going on through there. But yeah, so I was really, really pleased with that. That was fun. And then another thing that I built was this structure here. So this is actually my house. This is my second house. And so what I was trying to do was to build a house without walls. So you can see that it's got campfires which have been extinguished in various different levels, and it's supposed to look sort of falling down and falling apart. Got a little table and some seats there. Kitchen area. Okay, I guess this bit here does have walls, sort of, but it sort of looks like it's sort of fallen down, but I still wanted it to look finished. So it was a fun challenge to build something out of interesting blocks that looked fallen down and not quite complete, whilst actually looking cool and beautiful at the same time. So I really love it. I love these colours. I love the colour orange. It's my favourite colour, as you can probably see from my choice of blocks here. But yeah, so this was a house that I made. So that was really fun. Yeah. So I think I'll maybe do a little bit of a fly around this area, just so you can kind of see what we've got. So there's a, whatever that's called, pillager outpost over there as well. And there was actually another one further south, so it was quite a good area for a starter base, really. And yeah, it was really fun having lots of people involved in building all sorts of different things. You can see the starts of other structures that people had started to build and houses that people were making. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, that was really cool. Oh, I nearly forgot. Down here, there's actually, this used to be an automatic storage system, which quite a lot of it has actually been gutted, unfortunately, because nobody lives here anymore. So what's the need in having an automatic storage system now? So, but there was an automatic storage system down here underneath the base, and it was supposed to be quite sort of hidden. So the way you get in is either to fall down this hole here, which is just not really visible at all when you're walking around, you can't see it. And then you can fall down. Oh, here we are in the Auto Sorter. Yeah, so that was quite wonderful as well. I built this with Clown. Clown was involved in this base as well at one point, and did quite a lot of work in getting this Auto Sorter sorted out. Yeah. You can actually get back through to the main part of the base through there as well. It's a secret passage. Yeah, so I'm going to do a bit of a brief explanation about why some things have been blown off. Well, basically, there was a bit of a war that happened. Now, it's not happening again. I'm not being involved in wars anymore on the multiplayer server because it's just not something I enjoy. I don't enjoy having things being blown off. But long story short, there was a war, some things were blown up, and the base got disbanded and people moved on to build other things. So yeah, that's basically what I did. I moved on to build other things elsewhere. But it was really fun, and I'm still very fond of this base and the progress that was made here. It was fantastic, yeah. I think just one thing I forgot to mention, this is it's got a mud farm in here, which Floki designed and built. Yeah, so that was really cool. Little mud farm. I don't think it's not working at the moment because it doesn't have glass bottles in it. But that's a mud farm. Yeah, okay. So I think we'll move on to the next thing now. Oh wait, I forgot, actually. It's just a little... I had a bee farm in here at one point, and some mushrooms down here. I thought I might do some expansion down there, but in the end I actually decided not to. But that's that. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next place. See you there. Hello. Okay, so this is the third base that I lived at for a bit. This is actually Clan's base, and I think he'll be okay with me showing some of this on the video. Yeah. So this is Clan's storage system, which is a Shockercraft auto sorter storage system. You just get a bit of a peek. Back here you can see the amount of redstone that's involved in this thing. Yeah, it's ginormous. Absolutely enormous amount of redstone involved in these automatic storage systems. I've never actually built one quite this big, but I do like my automatic storage systems too. Yeah, so anyway, there were quite a lot of people who lived in Clan's base. There was somebody who lived back here. Built this really cool sort of cave, spooky area. And there's some more cool, interesting building back here. This is really pretty. I think you can get down there as well. I don't actually know how to get down there. Yeah. And then there's more of the base back this way. So I first visited Clan's base because he wanted me to come. He asked me to come and help decorating some things. So I came to help. I'm actually going to turn down the sounds. Um, I think that's better. So I helped to do some decorating of this villager trading setup to just add some details and some lighting. So yeah, that was fun. And this fireplace here. So that was how I first met a clan, basically. And I built a villager breeder here as well. So that was cool. And I got paid for that. I got paid like 4 stacks of shot shells, I think. So it was a good deal for me. Yeah. And then, whilst I was still living at the Savannah base, I was invited to come and live here too. So a bunch of people living here at the time, and it's quite nice, actually, when you live in a shared base to see people coming, going, and getting up to things, and it's just interesting to log on and what's happened since I've last been here. So yeah, that was fun. Anyway, this is my room in here. Yeah, so it was originally just a big box room, and I was trying really hard to divide the space up. So you can see that I built some walls and shapes and sort of a cave aesthetic, because originally it was just a big square room. And I'm really happy with this. I was really pleased with this at the time when I built it. Yeah, so it's just got the basic storage area for my personal things and a bit of a lava farm, there's essential stuff, essential little farms here. And I love the colour of the water in a warm ocean biome. It's actually a warm ocean. Whoops. I keep stumbling over what I'm trying to say. This is actually a warm ocean biome underneath at the moment, which is why the water is this cool colour. And I hid the passage down to the mine shaft here underneath that pool, because I thought that was a fun way to hide the mine shaft entrance. And you can get back up here, up this bubble elevator. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this was fun, and I had a nice time decorating this room and experimenting with new blocks and experimenting with different watercolors. It was quite fun. Yep. And then this was my tree chopping area, because it wasn't a very effective tree chopping area because only one tree was at a time, as you can see. I think they're a bit too close together for acacia trees. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think this would be fine for oak trees or birch trees probably, but it's too close together for acacia trees to grow. Yeah. Anyway, this is Skulk. I thought it looked quite cool and interesting. I sort of had it spreading down from the ceiling like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think I'll maybe do just a bit of a flyover, just so you can get a bit of an idea of the scale of the space. There are a lot of farms, like this iron farm and bamboo farm, and all sorts of interesting things here. Like Clan's old base where I lived for a bit. So yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I don't really live here anymore. Yeah, so I'm really happy with the passageway, sort of entrance into my room, sort of mystical and intriguing, and it opens out into a beautiful cave. So yeah, I think I thought this was great. Personally, really enjoyed it. It's good fun. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on to the next thing. All right. Welcome back to the field. Now you've seen bits of this place here before, but this is a base that I'm sharing with Floki, who also has a YouTube channel. He's had a YouTube channel for several years, and you should go check out his videos. Um, so I think he should be okay with me showing this. I don't think there's any spoilers at all. But so Floki moved here about 6 months ago, I think, when he first joined the server, and Turtle helped him to find this amazing, amazing landscape, which is called the Fjord, which just works perfectly with the Viking theme that he's going for. There's a little starter village over here, which has got an ancient city underneath it. Actually, it's pretty cool. Floki is really good at terraforming and changing the Minecraft terrain to make it look more realistic. So if you look over here, this is normal Minecraft's first forest, and you can see the dirt and the grass, and yeah, it sort of gets a bit boring once you've seen it for ages. And this is Floki terraforming this area, so you can see it's an enormous area which has been spruced up and terraformed, and there are paths and streams and little bits of rock and plants and flowers and things that weren't there before, and it just makes it such an amazing experience walking around and exploring, and it really makes exploring, walking around your base, enjoyable and fun. So I think for those who find that they spend too much flying around their base, well, basically I'm just saying Floki's put a lot of effort into the details and the paths and into making this base really, really enjoyable to just wander around and walk around, because everything looks so beautiful. Yeah, so so I moved here after I left the Savannah base when the war happened. So I moved into Floki, or Floki invited me to move in here. So I did. So I decided that I was going to set myself up on this mountain here. And this is where I made my base. There we go, we've got a campfire. And there's a beautiful path down the mountain as well, which Floki made. And this is my base. So the very first thing that I did was to make myself an automatic storage system, which I had actually designed. Now, I didn't design all of it, obviously, but let me just explain to you how it works. So it's just a normal, simple item sorter setup, which we've seen before in the first episode, the first video I made, actually made an automatic storage system at the industrial district. So the way that this one here works is that this wall here is for bulk storage of things like stone that you get a lot of, and cobblestone and dirt, and blocks that you just get a lot of when you need more than one double chest. And then all of the rest of the storage It's one double chest maximum of automatic storage space, because I just find you never end up with more than one double chest of logs, for example, or one double chest of coal. Well, I never end up with more than one double chest of coal. So yeah, that was the aim with this storage system, to have some bulk storage and some not bulk storage for the items which I want to get sorted easily and quickly. But I didn't want to have too many chests for them because it would just take up too much space. So the way that this works is that you put items into the input chest here, and they get sent up this water stream, and they go through the bulk storage first, which is this wall, and then they come around this corner and they go along the top here. So with this part of the storage system, only the top chests and the bottom chests are actually connected to the water streams. So you can see here there are actually two sorter systems at the top here and at the bottom, which are filtering out the items. And there are two water streams above each other. So the water comes along here, all the way along this way, along top and then around the corner, and all the way along here, filtering out into all of these chests here at the top, not the ones at the bottom. And then it comes down, and then it goes all the way back along. So the reason I did that was because it essentially doubled the amount of storage chests that I had without taking up too much more space. It doubled, well, not quite, but almost doubled the amount of items I could store in this room without making it far too big. And then above the automatically sorted chests are chests for the items that are related to that item here. So for example here for the oak logs, above that we've got everything that's related to oak, and I've also got oak planks here as well. Yeah, so I mean this is my favourite storage system I've ever designed, because I don't think it's too resource intensive, because it doesn't need too many hoppers. Hoppers are something that can add to the lag on the server, but it doesn't need too many hoppers because each chest in the sorter system only needs to have 2 hoppers. Except for in the bulk storage, obviously they need more hoppers. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm happy with this. Another thing that I was able to do was to hide some farms behind the redstone. So there's a sugarcane farm here. It's a really small sugarcane farm, but it's just producing small amounts of sugarcane that trickle then into the water stream and get automatically fed into the storage chest here. So I'm not worried about that overflowing at all, because it's just a very, very small sugarcane farm. But it will drip feed me sugarcane, which is very useful. And I've got the same for the dripstone as well. Pointed dripstone, I mean, there's a pointed dripstone farm up there, which pointed dripstone grows really slowly, so it doesn't produce very much at all, but it's nice. I just thought it was nice to have some little teeny tiny farms which feed into the storage system, because this is not a farm area at all, it's not an industrial area. This is my base where I live. So the priorities there are different. Yeah, and I really like this ceiling that I made. So I wanted to build something which looked strong and tall, and green and interesting, and I think it's worked out really well. I love the sort of random placement of the spruce planks and the leaves and things. Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And this floor here, um, as I said earlier, I really love the warm colours. So I love the combination of brick and acacia planks and mud bricks as well. I think it looks, I'm really happy with that. It just makes me happy to walk through warm colours. So that's what I did. I think just build something that makes you happy. It doesn't really matter if other people don't particularly like these colours because I really like them and they make me really happy. So there you go. Yeah. Um, what else? Yeah, so it was quite tricky actually deciding what to do with the corners of this storage system because you can see that the redstone is just through there. So space is a bit tight. But this is a sort of very, very small automatic smelting system. You just chuck items in the top and they get smelted up, chucked out the bottom. Um, so yeah, I think I was pretty happy with that. I think it's quite an efficient place to put that. Yeah, and then this is my bedroom. I never really built a bedroom, but this is my bedroom, and you can see I've got posters on my wall, and a bed, and that's all you need. I never really build bedrooms in Minecraft, but that's enough for me. Um, okay, right, what else? Let's go and have a look over here. So over here, I've done a little bit of villager trading in this base. I'm not planning to do much at all, but there are some villagers that you just need, like Unbreaking 3 and mending. These books are just really, really useful. And I think I've got pretty good trades with these villagers actually. It's been pretty lucky. I also like to have a cartographer so that I can get maps easily. I can sell them glass and paper and stuff, and that's useful. And a mason, you can sell them stone, which is quite a good way. It's my main way of getting emeralds, to be honest, because I have so much stone in my storage. It's completely filled up, and I've got like 6 chocolate boxes full of stone here, so I've got way too much. So it's quite a good way of getting emeralds slowly from that village there. Yeah, this is a wheat farm that I made. It's nothing like as fancy and pretty as the one I made at the Savannah base, but I think it's pretty efficient and it's plenty of wheat. So we can actually go in here, and I'm using these to speed up the growth of the wheat because as the bees travel over the crops, once they have been to the flowers and collected the pollen, when they travel back, they will drop sparkly green dust, which will make the crops grow faster. So you putting bees inside your crop farms increases the efficiency quite a bit. So yeah, that's quite a cool new thing. Well, I don't know how new it actually is to Minecraft, but it's quite a cool feature to take advantage of if you can. Yeah. Okay, and over here I've got a villager breeder. So up here there are 2 villagers, and they've got some beds. And when I want them to breed, I just put some food into this dropper, and it automatically feeds the villagers. It's actually just go and have a look at the top. I tried to make it nice for them so that they didn't feel like they were in a prison, but they've got a little house up here. Um, this is an impulse design, so there are 4 beds in a square shape here, and you put carpets on top of the pillows, and then trapdoors over the rest of the bed. And then these 2 villagers here are standing on a fence, and when they breed and make a baby, the baby will fall down because the baby is too small to be able to stand on the fence, so the baby will fall down. And that's how you sort the babies out from the adult villagers. So I think that it takes 20 minutes for a baby to grow up. Anyway, so baby falls down and lands on here. And when I want to collect a villager, I just push the button and I get collected the minecart there. So, oops, just broke that. Well, yeah, let's just fix that quickly. Yeah. So you can restock the dropper by, the dispenser by putting minecarts in it. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. I did design this minecart dispenser system, and I think it's pretty cool. It's very, very easy and handy to get the villagers out. Just one villager at a time without disturbing the rest of them. Yeah. So there we go. Cool. Oh, there's a bit of redstone. Yeah. So in this space, got some basic farms here for basic essential things. Snow golem so I can get snow. Yeah. This is for getting roots. What are they called? Hanging roots. Quite useful decoration. Can I collect them with silk touch? No, I can't. Any shears. Anyway, this is for getting hanging roots. Cocoa beans. I've got a chicken cooker. This is a double chicken cooker and produces quite a bit of roast chicken, which is great. It's very helpful. This is the mud farm that Floki designed, which I've rebuilt here and sort of decorated the room as well to make it look interesting. Yeah, so that's awesome. I do have another little mud farm here, which I built just in the wall. This is an Omango design for mud farm. I also built this on the Forged server. And it doesn't actually work that well on Lunar because of the server TPS. If I use a shovel, I think even when I was using just a stone shovel, it was still too fast. And sometimes the dirt wasn't turned into mud quickly enough, and we would end up with dirt in the chest, which was a problem. So it kept breaking. Yeah, but it does work if I just use my vest to break the mud. It works okay. It's just a bit slower. Anyway, it's still a great system. Yeah, and then this is where Pedro the goat lives. Pedro the goat actually lived with me in my main slaughter area for a very, very long time until I decided that he was being annoying, jumping around, jumping into things and occasionally headbutting me. So I decided to actually make him his own proper enclosure. And this is where Pedro lives now. I think he's very happy with it. Perhaps should have a girlfriend at some point, but yeah, that's Pedro. And then in here I have a sheep farm that I built. This is the second sheep farm that I made on this server. It's the same simple sheep farming system. The sugar wool gets collected by the dispensers, and then it gets collected by minecart underneath, and then gets sent up into the automatic sorting system back here. Yeah, let's just have a quick peek at the redstone. It's just, as you can see, a very simple redstone system. With a sheep farm. And then at the top, I've got another layer of sheep. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This is to trap any zombie penguin which gets spawned at the portal. They get attracted to this egg and then they fall down there. And then they'll despawn eventually. But I don't want them wandering around my base. So that's why I just put that there. I think it's quite good because I'm not going to fall down into it. Because I notice it's there and it's not in the way. So yeah. And then down here you can see this is my first attempt at some pixel art. So, if you don't know what it is, it's a Mareep Pokemon. So most of the reason why I built that second floor was actually so that you'd be able to see the sheep, see the Mareep, because on the ground floor it's quite difficult to actually see what you're looking at. Yeah, anyway, there you go. And I built this dome here above the sheep farm, and that was fun. I think domes just look great in Minecraft. And then adding leaves to it just to add some interest and texture. Alright, so let's move on. So if we continue down here, down this passageway here, I have a moss farm. This is an etho moss farm. I'm not going to explain too much how it works. You can just watch Etho's video from season 8 of Hermitcraft. But basically the moss here in the middle gets activated by the dispenser and it turns this stone here into moss. The stone is being pushed out by these pistons and it's generated by these stone generators here. Sorry, my foot's a bit sore. I've been talking for a long time. Okay, and then the moss and things get collected by water streams which push everything down this hole. And then there are some composters underneath this which turn moss and seeds and plants and things into bone meal, which gets sent up this tube here. And then the water passes over the dispenser system here in order that it fills itself up. And then once the dispenser has filled itself up, any extra bone meal just gets passed over here and collected in this chest. So this is, I built this moss farm because it was the most reliable moss farm design I could find. Like, it doesn't really break very often. Like, it can break if you leave the area and it unloads, then sometimes cobblestone will be created instead of stone. And that does break the farm because the cobblestone can't be turned into moss. Only the stone can be turned into moss. I think it's only natural blocks. So things like dirt and stone, they will be turned into moss, but cobblestone would. Anyway, it's not as quick as the Il Mango design because there is only one dispenser here for all of these pistons. So it's definitely at least a quarter of the speed of the Il Mango farm. But I built it because I didn't think I was going to need too much bone meal, and this system is very reliable and doesn't really break. Yeah, so I'm really delighted with that. I did some decorating of this cave here, trying to do a similar thing to what I did in my roommate clan's base, to try to find ways of turning a square room into something that didn't look like it was square anymore. Which was a bit trickier because I wasn't able to just put a wall through the middle of the room or anything, because obviously this got this farm in the middle of it. But I did do my best to make the walls a bit more interesting and add depth and texture and colour to the scene as well. Yeah, alright, so cool. Yeah, we're going down here next. Ready, jump. Right, yes. here we are in deep dark. I built a warden farm just a few days ago. So this is Cubfan's design. Cubfan by Hermitcraft. This is his season 9 warden farm design. Yeah, well, I thought it was really cool, and it's a really fun one actually because you can see the wardens coming up through the glass, so it's really dramatic. But basically, the way it works is you stand on the speaker, and wardens are summoned, and they spawn inside the glass box, and they're drawn towards this note block here, which you can hear because it's making noises. So they're drawn towards that, and then they walk into the water elevator, and they go up to the top where they drown because they can't breathe in. I think that mobs can't breathe in water elevators, so the wardens drown. It takes them a really long time actually because they have a really high health bar. But anyway, wardens drop skulk catalysts, which drop down here and get collected in the chest. So yeah, that's a warden farm. So that's great. There's actually another speaker there, which I've just covered. Yeah, so that was quite a lucky find underneath my base. So that's great. Yeah. So I think there's a couple more things around this base that I can show you. I'm planning. This is my main base. I still live here just now, and planning to live here for quite a bit longer. Because I love this place, and it's been really fun living with Loki, and hanging out and building some things together. Oh yeah, this I'm showing you this corner. Yeah, I'm just using this corner here to display things. This is the armor, which I got from a Lunar PvP event, and I'm just putting the date there so I can remember. So I think I'll just keep the souvenirs and things in this corner here, and I've got a to-do list. Continue the base, build a wood farm. Yeah. Anyway, and then this is a mine shaft down here. Where I do my mining. All the way down at the bottom. Yeah. I do like to put my beacons down at the bottom, because the way beacons work is that they work in a certain area around the beacon, but they go all the way up to world height, but only 20 blocks below the beacon, I believe. So if you build a beacon down at the bottom of the world, it will still work all the way up at the top. Whereas if you build a beacon fairly close to the surface, it will stop working once you get 20 blocks or so underneath the beacon. So I usually like to try to build my beacons down at basically at bedrock, so that I can use them for mining. Yeah, okay, cool. That's that then. Yeah, so I think I've been finding it a bit tricky actually to know how to expand my base. Because you'll see that there are lots of things which are already on the walls, and it's difficult to expand in a direction because there's obviously redstone behind you, so you can't actually go that way, and you can't really go this way because the wheat farm's over there, and then this is where the edge of the mountain is, so I can't really go that way either. So the only option really is to go down, because we're really high up still at this point. We're still at Y level, sort of 120 or so. So I think the next thing I'll be doing is continuing building the base down at this sort of level. This is level like 40, I think. Y level 40. So slimes will spawn down at this level, which could be useful. And I think this will be the way to go if I want to expand this base. And I might try and think up a cool way of getting up, an interesting way of getting up and down, rather than just a water elevator, because I've got lots of those. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's go outside because there's still a few things that we haven't looked at this base. I built a little barn up here with a friend, just up top of the hill, top of the mountain. So yeah, that's cute little barn here. Oh, there's a snow fox. Ooh, that's interesting. I've not actually done anything with foxes yet. That could be cool to try and do something with foxes. Oh, poor thing. Um, yeah. So I think I'll probably do some more building up here. I've started to lay out some plans for building some structures out here, maybe like a mountain village type thing. And I thought that I would maybe try to build a castle. This is there's quite a lot of space actually on top of this mountain. A relatively flat area back here. Maybe perfect for a castle. I've never built a castle before, so that would be fun. A fun challenge. Yeah. Okay. And then I've done most of the stuff that you'll see around here is floating. But I've done a little bit of stuff. I did some terraforming around here on this island and built like a llama trade stall. EOD llama trader stall. Yeah. And this is a goat house. Yeah. So it's good. If we ever need any goat horns or things, there are goats. And another thing that I built, you will have seen it when we flew in. Oh, this is all floky. Beautiful floky stuff. Another thing that I built was this lighthouse here, which is an actual working lighthouse. As you'll see at night time, the lights just turn on and it will spin. I did not design the redstone for that, but I did design the lighthouse itself. Yeah, you can probably find a tutorial of how to do the light on YouTube, but yeah, it's really cool. I mean, this little dangerous, precarious path down the cliff, and we can actually go inside the lighthouse, and I've got an interior. This is the lighthouse keeper. Doesn't have a name yet, I don't think. Actually, he might have a name. I need to ask him to talk about that. Yeah, I was trying to build a sort of lighthouse interior, and I had some help from a friend as well, who built most of this kitchen and this desk area here. So yeah, and then you can go up the spiral staircase, all the way up to the top. Now, I know that it's not very realistic to have a big spiral staircase like this, but I decided to make one anyway because it was cool. Basically, that's why. And this is the redstone for the spinning lights. It's mostly made of observers. So when it's nighttime, this nighttime detector will detect it, and this observer will get pushed out. And the observers basically detect each other. And they sorry, I've got a sore throat. They light up these redstone lamps in a sequence all the way around, and it keeps spinning until this observer is removed, and then it will stop when it's daytime. It's very... Oh, I must be... Oh, perfect timing. There we go. Okay, it's nighttime now. So you can see the lights are turned on, and it's sort of spinning around. Let's go and have a look. Yeah, Alright, I'm just gonna fly away a bit so that you can get a good view. There we go. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, there we go. That's the lighthouse in action. I thought this was. I decided to build a lighthouse here. I thought it would be a good place to build a lighthouse. Um, just at the entrance to the village to ward ships off of these dangerous walks here on this island. That makes sense. Now, I know that it doesn't actually make sense to have the lighthouse at the very bottom of the cliff here. Normally, you want, well, in the real world anyway, you want the lighthouse to be as high up as possible, um, in order that it can be seen from further away, because of the curvature of the earth. The taller the lighthouse is, the further away you'll be able to see it from. Yeah, so realistically, if this was real life, this lighthouse should actually be up on top of this hill here, um, and not down there, because that would make it taller, and then you wouldn't need to build it quite so tall. But I thought that if I were to build such a tall lighthouse, um, I kind of wanted to build it in that shape because I just like the shape. I think it needed to be a certain height in order to look impressive enough. So, but if I were to build that lighthouse up here on top of the hill, it would be almost as tall as those mountains. So, I thought that would just be a bit too big for this area if this was up there. So I built it down there instead. And I know it's not realistic, but there you go. Yeah. Anyway, happy with how that's turned out. Oh yeah, one last thing I did fairly recently was to build some flower farms. There's a meadows just over here, just over this mountain. And I've got some flower farms, which is useful for Floki because he has a banner trade, so he's in need of dyes all the time. So cornflowers, you can use these to get blue dye, so they're a really useful flower for getting blue dye, because the only other way to get blue dye is to use lapis lazuli. So cornflower farming is pretty valuable, pretty useful. And I've also got an allium farm over here. Now, alliums are quite a rare flower, so having an allium farm with a cornflower farm, yeah, I thought that was useful. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so there we go. That's actually all of my bases that we've now visited. And we're up to date on the bases. The next thing is the industrial district, which you guys have seen in the first video that I made. But I didn't really do a very in-depth tour of that area, so I think we'll go there next. Okay, see you there. Hello, and welcome back to the industrial district. Now you'll recognize some of this from the first video that I made, where I made this automatic storage system for the industrial district. This is still here and it's not been decorated. It doesn't look like much has changed, but progress has been made here, I promise you. So I've been connecting some of the farms up to the storage system, and there are some new farms that have been built. This is a carrot and potato farm that Clown made, and the cactus farm is moved. It's now over there, so that's good. The gunpowder farm has been connected up. Yeah, and you can also, as you've seen, we've cleared out most of the area underneath the ocean monument, so it's now a really nice big area for farms. So that's cool. I built an overflow protection here as well, So for things like sugarcane, which have completely filled up, with sugarcane, the sugarcane here is completely filled up. So new sugarcane comes down here to the overflow protection bit. And then the items which can be bone mealed, which can be composted and turned into bone meal, they come out. And anything that can't be composted just gets burned here at the end. Bone meal comes out and goes back into the storage system. So yeah, I think that's quite practical and efficient. Yeah. So another thing that we built was a bee farm. We made a bee farm here for honeycomb. Oh, dear. I think this is not quite finished. A farm for honey, which I haven't quite finished yet. And this is a villager breeder. This is an automatic villager breeder here up at the top. And then I've got a system very similar to what I used in my base. If you want a villager, you just press this button, and the villager will come out in a my hall like that. So yeah, it's very handy. And I moved the board. This is the board which has got a list of things that need to be built and things that have been built. So yeah, good progress. I think this could be ticked off. And this should be ticked off as well. But okay, that needs updated. This is a cobblestone farm that Clan made. It's very efficient. It's a very good cobblestone farm. Yeah. And then up here is a sugarcane farm. This is a Tango Tech design for a sugarcane farm. Which is very reliable. It doesn't break, really, ever. Oh, okay, that. No, it's not. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's fine. It's not quite finished. Anyway, so that's a Tango Tech sugarcane farm, so that's very, very helpful. And then this is the gunpowder farm, which I think I may have shown you briefly. But the creepers spawn in this area and then they get scared by the cats and they fall down. Fall down here and the gunpowder can be collected. This is an iron farm. There are 4 modules to this. It doesn't actually work at the moment. Because the zombie, so the zombie gets moved around on a track around the farm and scares the villagers, which spawns iron golems. So the reason, yeah, so that's what that's for. But when you leave the area and unload the redstone, sometimes it will break the clock. So you can see that this clock is just permanently turned on, which is why the zombie was locked there. So I think we need to find a way to fix this, because I mean you can see I fixed it just by breaking the redstone and putting it back, but I would like a better way to fix this. So it's just a bit more reliable. To be honest, it's probably the easiest thing to do would be to just have like one zombie for each module, because then it wouldn't break. You wouldn't need to worry about it. Yeah, but basically the zombie scares the villagers. An iron golem spawns and then gets pushed towards the middle where it falls down and dies and gives us iron. That's the basic principle for all iron farms. So yeah, there we go. And over here is a tree farm which I am in the process of building. It's not finished yet because I was having some problems with the clock, which it works in my single player world, but it just doesn't work on this server. So I need to put some time into like designing a different clock or doing some research to see if I can find a different clock that will work for this. Because it's not currently working. This is a Tango Tech design as well, by the way. But the clock is not working on the server. I had built it correctly, I've checked it several times, and it works in my single player world, it's just not working here. So I'll have to redo that. Maybe just build a simpler clock. A slightly slower one would be fine. Just something that works. Yeah. Okay, and then over here, this is my map making area, which is where I made the Mareep map. You can still see the outline of where the Mareep was. But when I feel like making a new map art, I can do that here. Yeah, it takes a really long time to do map art, by the way. It took me like a week or so to place all those blocks. Like, it's such a huge area. It takes a really long time to place all the blocks, and it also takes a lot of materials. It takes a lot of wool carpets. So, yeah, when I choose my next design, it's going to take a while because I need to collect all of the resources first, and then spend several hours placing blocks. But at least the map board, all of the stone has been placed already. The map board has been placed, so it will take less time, but still, yeah. Okay. I think that's all the farms that we've actually got in this area. The rest of the farms are in the nether. So here we go. Alright, here we are in the nether. This is a ghast farm. I'm actually just going to turn down the sound because it's annoying. Yeah, it's better. Okay, so there we go. There's the ghast farm in action. So the ghast spawn on this platform and die immediately on the widow roses. I don't know how we're getting up. I'll just fly up. But oops. There are widow roses and torches on all of these platforms, and the torches stop the skeletons from spawning because this is a soul sand valley which only spawns skeletons and ghasts. So the ghasts spawn and they get killed by the widow roses. And then you can collect gunpowder and gas tears from that. So yeah, it's very good. Anyway, gas farm. So the other thing that we have here is a gold farm. A massive gold farm here. So I'll just go inside and show you how that works. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so this is, well, I'm actually just going to turn sounds down again. Okay, so here we go. I think it was the minecarts that were making all that noise. So this is an old Ilmango design for a gold farm, and it's basically 4 layers of magma block circles, which the piglins can spawn on. Yeah, so the reason why it's magma blocks is because only piglins or... Well, it's got a... I can't remember exactly why it's magma blocks. But basically the zombie piglins don't take any damage from the magma blocks, whereas other mobs will do. Um, so the way it works is that you use a bow to shoot at one of the zombie piglins, and then all of the rest of the zombie piglins will come running and try to attack you, and then they fall down these holes onto the minecarts, where they die due to entity climbing. That's the basic system. And because there are Warner, I mean, sentry piglins, sentry zombie piglins that are in the corners which have been name tagged, it should keep on going forever. Um, yeah, so that's cool. That's how it works. Good system. Um, and then this next bit here, this is something that I designed. So when this farm is working, it produces a lot of drops. Lots and lots of items get produced by this farm. So if you just have a simple hopper collection system, it's not going to be quick enough. So it just needs something a bit more substantial than that. So this is, I didn't like any of the systems that I saw on YouTube, so I kind of designed something myself because that was quite fun. So there's a hopper minecart inside that block there, which collects all of the drops that fall from the zombie piglins when they get crushed. And then this item hopper here will collect the items from that hopper minecart. And then they will get spat out by this dropper here. Now this is actually working at double hopper speed because this hopper here passes the items into that hopper, and this hopper here will suck items out of that hopper at the same time. So it's actually working at double hopper speed, which I found is fast enough. Single hopper speed is not fast enough, but double hopper speed is. And then the dropper is being powered by this observer clock here. And the items fall down. Now the challenge afterwards was to get all of the items to be pushed into the same area so that they could then be sorted out. So the items fall down and they get pushed by this slime box all into the center from all of these 4 systems. So you can see that working there. And there's a clock which powers all of these pistons here, which is just a simple little hopper clock here. I do like to use these little hopper clocks because you can choose. It's really easy to be very specific about the timings and to choose exactly the timing that I wanted. So yeah, so that works. So the items fall down here. Down here, and they get pushed against this chest. Which means that once they get pushed by this slime block here, they're in line with the hoppers, which means they can be collected by the hoppers. And then any items that aren't part of the sorting system, they just get burnt here by this fire, so there's overfull protection there. And if it gets, if the chests get overloaded, then that also gets burnt there. So yeah, anyway, I'm happy with the system. There are a lot of chests, it's got a massive capacity, which is important because the farm produces a lot of gold nuggets and a lot of rotten flesh. You can see the rotten flesh is completely full. And the gold nuggets are pretty full too. So yeah, it's a good farm. It produces a lot of gold. And it was really fun to design the redstone for it and to design the sorting system for it actually. Is there a hole in there? Oh, it looks like there's a hole in the glass. Okay, I should fix that. There shouldn't be a hole in the glass. Okay. Anyway, so because of all of the rotten flesh we got from this farm, we decided to bring some cleric villagers here to trade all the rotten flesh to. Which means you can get redstone, and it means you can get bottles of enchanting, and other things as well. It's just clerics are quite useful villagers to have, particularly if you have a source of rotten flesh. Yeah, and then over here is a pigling bartering farm. So if you give a pigling gold, then they will trade you a random item from the items that they're able to trade, basically. So the way that this farm works is you put the gold in that chest there, and it gets distributed between these two droppers here. And then that gets distributed to the piglins. So I didn't want it to be too quick because the piglins need to be trading slowly enough that these hoppers are able to cope with it and this dropper is able to cope with it, because I didn't want the farm to get overloaded because that's just wasteful. So what I did was I actually slowed down the dispensing system. Yet again, I built an ether hopper clock in order to control the speed at which the gold is being dispensed to the piglins, because it meant that they weren't producing items too quickly for this hopper dropper system here. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that system, and it works perfectly. It doesn't get overloaded. There's no wastage. Yeah, sometimes one of the piglin ends up not actually holding gold for a bit, so it's not quite as quick as it could possibly be. But that, I don't mind that. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you probably don't need 4 piglins. I think 2 or 3 would probably be enough. But yeah, we've got 4. Anyway, so the items get passed up along these hoppers, and then they get sorted out into this automatic sorter. So it's got nether brick, string, leather, blackstone, obsidian, soul sand, gravel, nether quartz. Yep. And then there are also some items that we didn't want to keep. So these are being filtered out here at this point. So things like ender pearls, iron nuggets, spectral arrows, we didn't want to keep those at all, so they get sorted out and then they get immediately burnt in lava. And any items which don't get sucked up into the sorting system, so unstackable items like enchanted books and boots and things, they just end up in these chests here. And then when that overflows, it just gets put into lava, so that's an overflow protection there. So yeah, that's the piglin botting system, and I think this again, I think this is probably the best piglin botting system that I've made. Pretty happy with it. It's efficient. Haven't had any problems with it yet. It's quick enough for me. Yeah. Oh, there are still zombie piglins spawning around here. It's because of these shock boxes. It's because piglins are actually able to spawn, mobs are actually able to spawn on top of shock boxes, so that's why I built this cupboard here, storing shock boxes safely, so that no mobs will spawn on them, but it doesn't look like they're being used at the moment. Anyway, that's where the shock boxes are supposed to be stored, because this is spawn proof. This is not spawn proof. Anyway, I mean, it is important, like, these barrels should be spawn proofed as well, and they're not. It is important to think about spawn proofing in the nether, because if a ghast were to spawn here and start shooting fireballs and blowing up the redstone, that would be really annoying and we'd have to rebuild it. So, yeah, I should put some more thought into making sure that this is completely spawn proofed again. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, there's only one final thing, one final farm that's part of this complex. Um, Over here, this is a hoglin farm that Clan made. So that produces leather and pork chops, which gets sorted into shockers immediately. Um, so yeah, that's good. It's very helpful. Anyway, I think that's all there is to the industrial district. No more farms will be being made eventually. Um, so I think the next thing to do will be to go to the shopping district and to have a look at what's been going on in the shopping district. So I will see you there. Hello and welcome to the shopping district. So here we are in the shopping district of Lunar Survival, and it's pretty big. It's a pretty nice big area. We've got a map here of the shopping district. Yeah. So I think I'll just head to my shop and show you what's up with that. Everybody on the server is able to have a shop. There are free plots available for people who don't have a shop yet. But then once you do have your own shop, you would need to pay if you wanted to buy another shop. Anyway, this is my first shop here on this plot. As you can see, it is a tree stump. It is a tree stump. It was quite fun. It was quite tricky and interesting an interesting challenge to try and make a natural looking tree stump shape. And I think it's been quite successful. I quite like it. Anyway, this is strip spruce and this is oak logs, and I think they work quite well together to give it a bit of variation in texture. And this is my shop logo. This is the map art that you've seen in the industrial district. The whole reason that I made that map art was because I wanted to make a shop logo, and maybe that's a shop logo. So I do also sell map arts of shiny Mareeps without the shop logo on them. So yeah, that's a collectible. If you want to come and buy one, you can. I might actually lower the price now because it's been a while since I made that. But the reason I put it 2 diamond blocks per map was because it took me about a week to make, and it was a lot of resources. So it's not. It was a lot of effort to make, so I thought that was a fair price at the time. But I think I've reduced the price now. So in my shop, I sell wool, and I sell maps, and I sell mud blocks and packed mud blocks. And the wool business is going pretty well. Actually, I just recently stocked up, but the wool business has been doing pretty well. Yeah, so I think it's been a successful shop here. I've got a lectern here for suggestions for the next map. If anybody feels like suggesting something that they might be interested to buy, I've got a lectern there. Yeah, so this is my first little shop, which was really fun. Really fun to make. And I think it's cute. So yeah, there we go. I do have a shared shop as well. I have another shop which I share with Town. And it made sense for us to share a shop because we share an industrial district together and built quite a lot of farms together. So it makes sense to sell the items from those farms into a shared shop. So that's just over here. Here we go. So these 3 buildings here are all part of the same shop. They're designed to look as if they were different shops, but it's it's all the same building basically. So in this blue shop here, we've got shulker boxes of items. So for example, shulker box of cobblestone, shulker boxes of fireworks, gravel, pork chops and things. So those items that we've got farms for that we can sell in bulk are being sold in shulker boxes here. In individual items, rare items and things. Flowers, because I've got some flower farms, so I can sell flowers. Um, and then over here we can sell items from the piglin bartering farm. And other items and yeah, just useful items. It's not very themed, this shop, because it just sells stuff from the farms that we have. And it sells crate keys as well, which are a thing that are specific to this server. If you have a crate key, you can use it in order to claim items from the crate hole, basically. So this shop is called Clown and Mareep's Loots and Stuff. Little shoppy thing. Yeah. Yeah, basically. Okay. So we actually had some help with the design of this shop from the head builder, Cosmo, who helped out with the exteriors and some of the interiors of these buildings here. So yeah, very grateful for that because it looks awesome. But basically, I had built the basic frame of the structure and started, choosing the materials and built a basic design, and then Cosmo was able to come along and add details and just polish up. Yeah, so that was really helpful. I appreciate that. Thanks, Cosmo. And it looks lovely. I love this. I love this little shop front that we've got here. I think it makes sense if you've got a shop which is selling sort of non-themed items to have it look like it's several different shops. That sort of makes sense, lore-wise, I guess. Yeah. So I think that's us. We've pretty much covered everything that I've been involved in now. So we're now up to date. And we're going to be ready for, in any future episodes, people will know what's going on and it's going to make sense. Basically, I hope that was the hope. And if not, then it was just a nice nostalgia trip for me to go around and visit all of these old things that I'd built and farms and new stuff. It was nice to remind myself of those things. So I hope that you enjoyed it too. Yeah, I'm sorry this has been quite a long episode, but there was quite a lot to cover. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Hope you've had a good day. Bye.